Okay, let's do this thing. So obviously 2020 has been a bit of a crazy year, and I want to preface this video by saying that pretty much the only thing I did this year was journal. It was the thing that kept me sane and the thing that brought me joy and made me happy during a really difficult time, like I think a lot of us have this year. So this is my bit of a disclaimer in the sense that this is a lot of journals that I finished this year. A lot of them I'd already started and I just took the time to finish up, so that kind of contributes to the number. Yeah, it's a little bit mad, so let's get into this. We're going to start with the more boring and work our way up to the most interesting, I think. So I've got my piles next to me. Let's bring in my first pile. First lot are kind of my planners, my diaries, to-do lists, workbooks, stuff like that. One of my piles just fell. So I've got a little pocket 2020 planner that I filled up with kind of work to do. Obviously that one went astray. And then this was my bullet journal system this year. I used a traveller's notebook system. So I completed 3 traveller's notebooks. It's upside down. With kind of everything in it. So I've completed 3 of those kind of as my bullet journal this year. I completed this was like a budget planning notebook. Again, this actually is one that kind of was half started and then kind of half finished, but I'm not going to use it anymore, so I kind of concluded it in this year. I'm leaving it in 2020. And then we have 2 of these. These are both from Daiso, and basically they are like pocket planners essentially. I'm trying to find one that I could show you. So you kind of have your hours in the day and stuff. And I used this one during the first lockdown the UK was in, and then I picked this one up for the second lockdown. Got Casper on the back, and just kind of used it to help structure my day out a little bit more when most of my planners kind of went array because everything was cancelled. And then the next one I have is this Zoella planner. My best friend got me this for Christmas or my birthday, either one, in the start of 2020. I used this again as a work to-do list. I finished this little journal. I've been using this since 2019. Basically, it's like a little calendar I created for myself. I really wanted to purchase one of the like pocket calendar things, which I have since purchased, but this was kind of a makeshift one, so I finished that up. And then we've got my 2020 Fibonacci. I only learned that that's kind of the term for these this year. I've completed one of these every year since 2014, so this is my 2021. And then we've got another work notebook and another work notebook. Take a lot of notes at work. Then we have this, which is it's from Typo. It's a National Geographic one, and I just use this to take notes for any online courses I took, any kind of like Skillshare courses, anything like that. I took notes in here. And then I'm going to hold this one around because I stuck my work logo on the back of it, but this is a Muji notebook. Again, I kind of used this for work notes. And then finally in this pile we have my passion planner. I started this back in April, I want to say. Yep, so I got it in April, and I've been playing around with the idea of using planners and kind of like planner stickers ever since, which has been really exciting and a really fun kind of project to take on this year. Okay, so the next pile of journals is kind of my themed journals, is how I'm going to say it. So the journal has a specific purpose. So we'll start with some of the pocket sizes and work our way up. So we've got this little one that I used as like an on-the-go journal, so I'd use when I was out and about, which is very cute. We had this little journal where I wrote down some Gaelic words in an attempt to learn some Gaelic. We've got this. This is a little mindfulness companion that I picked up at what I was given at uni. It's like a wellbeing for students book. It has some like journaling prompts, some Sudokus, some like quizzes, puzzles, stuff like that in it, so I did that. I think I did a bit of that on the plane back from Korea actually, so it's quite cool. And then we have this little Disneyland 25th anniversary pocket journal. I used this as my gratitude journal, so really nice sentimental memories in that one. And then we have this Polaroid notebook. I used this as an art journal. This is one of my favourite spreads from that. Yeah, I didn't particularly enjoy using it, but I did kind of pull together some pages, so that worked really well. And then we've got this journal, which is from the Royal Shakespeare Company, I think, in where they do Shakespeare performances. I picked this up years ago, and it has one of my favourite Shakespeare quotes: "Though she be but little, she is fierce." And I used this to keep poetry in, both my own and others that I enjoyed. And then this is another budget kind of book, so probably should have been in the last pile, but oh well. Yeah, I planned out budgets and stuff in this previous year. And then we have this little Oliver bonus notebook. In this one, I have been keeping track of my songs. So basically, I previously would make every single month a playlist on Spotify, and I'd keep track of it in here because I think it's really cool to see like how you progress through the months and then make it into one big playlist. I'm not doing this anymore because I find that since I've left uni, I don't really use Spotify as much as I previously did. At uni, I used to listen to like my Discover Weekly playlists and stuff obsessively. I don't particularly have the time anymore, so I've kind of moved away from that one a little bit, but yep, I finished it up between 2018 and 2020. And then we have this little guy who is so cute. And basically this was, how have I got paint everywhere? What have I touched? This started off as just a normal planner. And then obviously 2020 went a little bit awry, and I have a lot of other planners. So what I did with this journal is I kind of sealed it off with an image, and I used it in a way that I've absolutely adored, and I'm going to carry on doing this year. Basically, I would use it to track what journals I worked on certain days, when I finished journals, when I started them, when some arrived. I would keep like different labels and stuff from different companies in here, from notebooks that I've got. I've absolutely loved it, and repurposing it in this way has just been such a positive way to use this journal. And then we have this little chunky fella. This is from the brand Marco Polo, and it is a travel journal. And so I started this one back when I visited Edinburgh in 2019, and I ended up, so this isn't fully finished, there's still some blank pages, but I basically thought, one, it looks massive, and I don't really know if I want to risk putting another trip in it and breaking it. And secondly, obviously, I didn't know what the trip climate was going to be like, and I didn't want to keep this journal waiting for one more trip because I didn't know when it was going to happen. And it's got lots of wonderful memories in it anyway, so I just decided to keep it safe, play it safe, and finish this one up. Then we have this book journal. Again, this is another one which I'd done a lot of work in previously, and then kind of left on my shelf with the intention that one day I would fill it up with all the books I've read. But the thing is, I don't particularly read as much as I used to. I used to be a big reader, and now I read a couple of books a year. And I'd moved into a different book journal with the intention of coming back to this one day. And so I decided to sit down and go through all of the books that I read in different years since I've had Goodreads, so starting in 2012. And it looks really cool to, I don't know if I can flick it, but really cool to see all the different books that I've read and stuff. So actually, like, again, repurposing this in a different way worked really well. And again, meant that I finished a journal that's actually been on my shelf for a good few years, just waiting to be finished. Again, a similar thing with this journal. So this is originally an astrology journal that my sister had. And you're supposed to use it to kind of like look at the stars, stuff like that. I did have someone ages ago ask me for what brand this is. It says it's from Francis Lincoln Limited Publishers. It's a stargazing notebook by Paul G. Abel. And basically I repurposed this for a bit of like a witchy research kind of journal. Where's one of my favourites? So I would put like little short spells in this, kind of show you different ways, what equipment and stuff you need. Oh, here's one I love. And did it like this. And again, it was really fun to kind of do that research and have a journal that I kind of probably would have sat on my shelf for a really long time not being used, actually getting it used. The imagery on the front and the side is all stickers from Quinn Booley or Mindful Hookup on Instagram. She's probably my favourite person to buy stickers from. I'm always buying them. Just take a massive sigh. The next one I've got is this notebook from Accessorize. This was my fitness journal. I absolutely despised it. I decided to just not carry it on because I was not motivated to use it. I didn't like the, let me show you, I didn't like the pages. I don't know, it's a very, very, very rare thing for me to kind of abandon a journal completely and think that it's not for me, but I probably got, I mean, to be fair, I got like 100 pages in, so there was about 100 pages to go, but it just wasn't for me. I had another fitness journal I wanted to pick up, so I moved on from that one. Then we've got a morning pages journal. I love this. It just looks so cute to be filled with my morning pages. So I filled that up at the last chunk of the year. And actually we've got my morning pages from the beginning of the year here. I don't keep morning pages like religiously, like I don't do it every single day. I basically pick up a morning pages journal when things are feeling a little bit rough or my anxiety is kind of heightened, and I work through it kind of then to work through those feelings. Then I have this journal. This is from Wilco. This is just, it says give yourself time. Basically every day you had a today I'm grateful for, what would make today a great day, and then I am, and you write your feeling, and then you write 3 best things that happened to you that day. So I've kind of kept that. Then we have this journal from the Disney store. This is a very cool design. Unfortunately it's metal, like the cover, a little bit of ASMR, but it's really uncomfy to write in. And basically what I ended up doing was just going through some of my favourite Disney films, writing some facts in here. And then again, this is one that I'd started years ago and kind of used sporadically throughout the years, and actually took the time to kind of sit down and finish it this year. And so this journal is pretty cool because I write solely in French in it. So I used to take French at school. I took it all the way up to AS level and then stopped. So I do have some like French language in there, and this is kind of my way, always my way to try and keep up with that and kind of remember some of it. Then we have this little cute Lima journal, and I basically used this when I was looking into some of my stomach problems, debating whether I should do vegan or try a vegan lifestyle to help my stomach. So I did a load of research on this. Jury's still out on that one. I haven't actually made a decision, but maybe 2021 will be the year. Then we've got my dream journal. So I started this one in October 2019 and finished it in November this year. So that's really cool. This is the second one like this I finished, and I just love them as dream journals. Then we have this. I think I've shown this on my channel and on Instagram before. Basically, this was an old book of which was a cartoon and book series that I loved as a child growing up. And I had this copy. Cornelia was my favourite character. I didn't particularly want to throw it away, but I didn't know what else to do with it. So I kind of repurposed it into a junk journal. I kind of stuck some bits and bobs in. There's some like postcards and stuff. And yeah, I absolutely kind of love how this ended up looking. And it's a really nice way to keep that and keep it safe. Then we have this Muji journal. In this journal, I called it my The Sky is Everywhere analysis. And basically what I did was go through each chapter of The Sky is Everywhere by Jandy Nelson, which is my favourite book, and kind of pull out the quotes that I loved and filled each page with them. And then in a similar fashion, we have this Muji notebook, which is kind of the A4 size for comparison. And this, I did the same thing, but I did it with NCIS and Tony and Ziva quotes. I was obsessed with NCIS for a really long time, probably like 2-3 years. And I'd started doing this, and then all of the season 17 like secrets happened and kind of sparked it all up again. So yeah, this is just all the quotes and stuff from them. And then we have this little block notebook, and basically this is, ironically, where I would do some research about different places I wanted to travel. I called it like my travel hypotheticals. So I talk about how much it would kind of cost, what places you should go when you're there, stuff like that. Let's carry on, shall we? Let's get another pile. So these are prompt journals, but they are like specifically created for those prompts. So firstly, we've got this little journal, which is a takeaway journal. Very appropriate for this year. Just, yeah, it had loads of questions in it, like you'd rate your takeaways. There were little like this or that and stuff like that. It was very cute, very fun to fill in, didn't take very long. And then I finally finished the Do One Thing Every Day That Inspires You creativity journal. This has taken me so long. One of my favourites is I've got some loose leaf tea here, but I am so glad to have finished it, and it was kind of really worth that effort that I put into it. Then we have the Little Book of Bad Moods. This was really fun, really good for this year. You wrote notes to people who had annoyed you, you wrote down the things that annoy you, kind of everything like that. It was really good fun to do. And then we have the This Is Not a Book from the Kerry Smith series. Again, this is something I was doing for years and finally kind of took the time to work through. I actually really enjoyed it more than I thought I would. I've still got a couple of Kerry Smith notebooks left, but there's still kind of like a load of them to do. But yeah, I really enjoyed this, so it was good fun. And then I actually have 2 of these, so I'll show you these. And I've got one more on my shelf now, which is ridiculous. But we've got the 5 Minutes to a Healthier You and 5 minutes in the morning journals. These are focused journals. They give you prompts, challenges, kind of ways to improve your physical health, your mental health. And I've got a mindfulness one to start up in the new year as well. So that'll be really exciting. And then we've got the Watered Intentions Journal by, I'm not going to be able to say it right, Ka'ala. She's a fantastic Instagram account. I've got another one of her journals to work through, the Rooted Journal, and I think she's just released some more, so I'd be really keen to pick those up at some point. But basically this is kind of like ways to set your intentions, your gratitude and stuff throughout the day. I really loved it. It really helped this year. It's just really beautiful. And the Rooted Journal is fantastic. It's like a weekly one instead, but I absolutely love it. It's got some really nice reflective kind of questions and things to think about. And then we've got Lee Crutchley's How to Be Happy or at least Less Sad. Again, this is just kind of like a fun, this will prove a point, a fun prompt book. What am I watching? NCIS. And just, yeah, with fun things to kind of work through. And so then we've got this beautiful journal is the 99 Things That Bring Me Joy. Again, this is something I'd started and then not worked through. So I sat down and spent some time in it. It's got some really cool like prompts to think about. So like your comfiest clothes, for example, and stuff like that. It's a really nice, comforting book to work through. And then we have the Anxiety Journal by Corinne Sweet. This is more of a book than a journal, but there are like notes pages and prompts throughout it. And then the back few pages in here, again, are kind of like notes pages. And I use these to start writing about my anxiety to do with like the virus and stuff. So all of that's in there, which is pretty cool. And then we've got the Noor Unaf Find Your Voice Poetry Journal. This is beautiful. It's absolutely stunning. The pages are so gorgeous. I'm trying to find one that's not mine. The poetry that it makes you create is fantastic. I just absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. It was one of my favourite things to fill this year. And then we have I recently just finished this. Again, this is something I'm really happy about. This is the One Page at a Time by Adam J. Kurtz. My poor book has fallen apart. But again, this is kind of like creative prompts, like this one where you had to draw a bunch of hot dogs and stuff like that. And so I just would fill that in on a daily basis. And then we have the Get Your Shit Together journal by Sarah Knight, who is the author of The Life-Changing Magic of Not Giving an F. This is, again, a really fantastic prompt journal. It was kind of a little bit tricky to work on during this time because there's some things that encourage you to get out and do things, which obviously you can't do. But yeah, I really loved filling this in, and it kind of did give me a different insight into how to do things. And then we have the Happy Book by Rachel Kempsue and Meg Leader, I think. Again, more prompts. I turned this one into my favourite ASMR artists. What's funny is like some of these are probably changed, but actually it's pretty cool. Yeah, so that's really cool. And then we have my moon journal. Again, I started this in 2019 and finished it this year. This is basically a load of prompts around your moon sign, things you should be considering as each moon cycle progresses in the year. So really cool. And then the last two in this part I have are these two from Paper Chase. These are part of the Inspired by the Japanese Way of Life collection. So there's 3 editions. So this is 1 and 2, and I'm working on the 3rd one. So the first one is Ikagi, Finding Your Passion in Life. The second one is Wabi Sabi, Love Your Imperfect Life. And I've loved filling these in. They are so cool. In fact, let me show you. I think this is, yeah, talking about house and stuff. Really gorgeous pages and really kind of like inspiring. And, you know, it kind of feels like a magazine, but it's really quite cool. And we are into my final pile, which is crazy. So these are all my personal reflective journals that I have worked on this year. So I used quite a few smaller kind of size journals just because I think that it's quite nice when things feel very like stagnant and stationary to work through these smaller journals, because then you feel like you're progressing and moving through things. So these aren't going to be in the right order, but we've got this little Mr. Do Nothing notebook. That was my 16th volume of the year. We've got my 15th volume. This is from My Sweet Paper Card. It's a really cute like Halloween-y style one with little Ouija boards and stuff on it. Then this was volume 7. This is from Pie Fingers on Instagram. I think, is she Pie Fingers on Etsy? I can't remember, but I absolutely, yeah, Pie Fingers, absolutely love her artwork. I've got a couple of her different journals. Yeah, so I finished that one. Then I used this for a tiny bit. So this is a Filofax Flex notebook. And previously I'd kind of used this on like trips and stuff. And basically I sat down and decided to use it as a tiny little personal journal in between finishing one journal and going to Korea, because I wanted to use a specific one for Korea. Then I have this little one. This is a Midori river paper notebook that I picked up in my time in Korea. And then we have some stickers. I'll try and remember who these are from and link them. These are just quarantine stickers, and the money went to the NHS. So this was volume 8. And then we've got this chunky beauty. This was actually my graduation present from my parents. I absolutely love it. It's stunning. Yeah, it just holds a real special place in my heart. Just let's see what volume this was. This was volume 13. So that's pretty cool. Then we've got this one. This is from Pipsy Puffin Art on Instagram. Again, I absolutely love her kind of illustrations, and she personalised this one. It's so cute, and I used this when we went to Centre Parks. We went the week it opened back up after all the lockdowns and stuff, so it was a very different experience, but really good fun, and I documented it in here. And then we've got this one. This is from Typo. This is hilarious, and it's really funny. When I picked this up, I kind of picked it up thinking that we'd reached the end of lockdown, and it was kind of like a nice homage to it, except now we're back in this again, but still. So this is the Walking Wine Tour map. basically the wine in your house. I don't know if I put what volume this one is. I don't know, but it was very cool. Then we've got this little Dear Spring one from Daiso. This was volume 6 in the year. I've just had a little avalanche. Then I've got this one from Paper Chase. I love this. I've got another one like these. They've got feminist quotes on the front that say, so this one says, "The best protection any woman can have is courage." It's a really cool size. And yep, so I used this at the beginning of the year. This was my second one in the year. And then we've got this one, which was a gift from my boyfriend. Super cute. It says, "Don't be a drama llama." Again, I picked this up, I think, as lockdown was starting, or I can't remember when. But yeah, so it was quite an experience, to say the least. There's loads of stuff in here I don't even like recognise. And then at the back, so I also kind of did, I'll show you like this. I used the back pages to kind of rant about my anxiety and stuff of everything that was going on. I kind of kept it separate because I thought it was like, I wanted to document the memories, and like, this is an experience. It's a horrible experience, but it's something we will look back on. But I also needed a place to be very raw and brutal about my feelings and kind of get those out, so I split it in half, which is something I don't normally do, but I don't normally have such consistent negative feelings, if that makes sense. Like, normally it'd be embedded and it'd be fine, but because this was like every single day, that anxiety because of everything, I kind of needed that space, which was really nice. Then we've got this one, which is from the Museum of Context in Edinburgh. This is one of my, just checking that it's not got my number on, one of my favourite spreads is this. Yeah, this was a really fun journal to work through. And then we've got this journal from Glitter and Earth on Instagram and Etsy. Again, one of my favourite shops. She has the most beautiful designs. I've just got this noon planner from her for 2021, and I'm so excited to use it. This was my 12th volume. You've got some gorgeous like yellow pages and stuff. It's, yeah, really beautiful, really fun to work in. I loved that design for the end of summer. Then we have this journal, which is from Italia. It just says Milano. I've had this in my collection for ages, and I've always loved it. I'm obsessed with it, really. So I worked through this. This was my 9th journal, and this took me a month. And then finally, we have my journal that I took with me to Korea, and in March, and the isolation period that followed going, and lockdown and all of that jazz kind of all took place in here. I'll show you this. This is like a load of independent shops and stuff. It's a really nice journal. It's from Moleskine, and I do love it. It's very near and dear to my heart because it kind of went through a lot with me, like both with travel and kind of the experience that kind of came at the beginning of the year that I think a lot of us kind of went through. And then actually I'll just quickly show you, because I've almost finished. This is my current personal journal. This is from Hobbycraft. It's actually a sketchbook. I absolutely love the pages. I've got about 50 pages left in this, so it'll probably finish at the very beginning of 2021. But yeah, that's kind of the finished journal collection for the year. I do have a total, I think it's in the 70s. I'll leave how many I completed in the description and stuff, because I think it's quite cool. And I'm quite proud of myself. Like, this really has been my art and my passion this year. And I hope that that is the one positive from 2020 that will continue into 2021. So thanks for watching.